In this video, we will outline how to use operators, operands, and expressions, which are the basic building blocks of any program. Most instructions, or statements and functions, that you write will contain expressions. A simple example of an expression is 2 plus 3. An expression can be broken down into operators and operands. Operators are the functionality that do something and can be represented by symbols, such as plus, or by special keywords. Operators require some data to operate on, and such data is called operands. In this case, 2 and 3 are the operands. Here's a quick overview of some available operators. You have plus, which adds two objects together. Minus, which gives the subtraction of one number from the other. Multiply, which gives the multiplication of the two numbers or returns the string repeated that many times. Power, which returns x to the power of y. Divide, which divides x by y. And divide and floor, which divides x by y and rounds the answer down to the nearest whole number. Here are some logic operators. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to and not equal to, Boolean not, Boolean and Boolean or. If you have an expression such as 2 plus 3 times 4, is the addition done first or the multiplication? Our high school math tells us that multiplication should be done first. This means that the multiplication operator has higher precedence than the addition operator. This list gives the precedence table for Python, from lowest precedence or least binding to the highest precedence or most binding. This means that in a given expression, Python will first evaluate the operators and expressions lower in this list before the ones listed higher. This table was taken from the Python reference manual. Here are some examples of how we can make expressions more readable using parentheses. In this first example, 2 plus 3 times 4 is definitely easier to understand with parentheses. Without parentheses, you're required to know the operator precedence, where multiplication comes before addition. So we would multiply 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 2, which is 14. As with everything else, parentheses should be used reasonably. So here in this third example, there are just too many and they're redundant. There's also an additional advantage to using parentheses. It helps us change the order of evaluation. For example, if you want addition to be evaluated before multiplication in an expression, then you can write something like this fourth example, where the 2 plus 3 are in parentheses. So you would add 2 plus 3 together, which is 5, then multiply that by 4 and get 20. Operators are usually associated from left to right. This means that operators with the same precedence are evaluated in a left to right manner. The answers to both of these equations would be the same. Let's look at an example expression to find the area and perimeter of a rectangle. So here we have the length and breadth stored as variables by the same name, and we use these to calculate the area and perimeter of the rectangle with the help of expressions. We're storing the result of the expression length times breadth as a variable area, and then we're printing those variables using the print function. In the second case, we directly use the value of the expression 2 times length plus breadth in the print function. Let's run this code and see what happens. We have area is 10, perimeter is 14. Notice how Python pretty prints the output. Even though we've not specified a space between area is and the variable area, Python puts it in for us so that we get a clean, nice output, and the program is much more readable this way, since we don't need to worry about spacing in the strings we use for the output. This is an example of how Python makes life easier for the programmer.